Hello and welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 on the old Stream Farm series. Today we're going to be doing some more contracting, but instead of doing more baling, we're going to be looking at doing some cultivating. But first things first, we need to swap out the tires on here from the narrows to something more appropriate for field work. So let's go and do that. Luckily, we have our own little workshop on the farm here, which makes it very easy to do these things. There we go, all swapped out. And now we've also got our front weight attached. My cultivator, yep, there it is. Knew we were going to use this, I didn't want to sell it. Now we'll actually be able to earn some money while using it. Alright, so let's take a look at the contracts. So we've got a whole range of contracts here. I think we'll go with this one here for field 28. Let's just see how large field 28 is. It's a fairly wonky shaped field, but we'll take it. But we'll do this one. Now just gotta find my way over there. So here we are at field 28. I think the best approach here will be just to get some headlands in as best as we can. I'm not going to fuss too much about keeping it neat since this is only a contract. And we'll stop as soon as the contract is basically fulfilled, leaving that little bit of a margin there. The whole field will get converted anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So there we go, the contract is finished. I will go ahead and collect our payment. Let's collect that, it's not very much at all. So, moving on, let's have a look at the other contracts here really quickly. I'm going to take whatever pays out the most money. And at the moment that spraying contract looks good at 4,000. Got fertilizing at 5. And we're back to the baling really. So, let's grab baling on field 15. Let's go and have a look at how big field 15 is real quick. Okay, field 15 is rather oddly shaped. I'd actually like to have a quick look at the actual field. Okay, so I've just taken a quick look at the field and I have decided that we will do that contract. I wanted to do more cultivating, but it's just not worth the money. The amount of time you spend doing it, it's not too bad, but I think if we do a baling contract, it'll just be a little bit better. And especially now that I understand how the baler works, and well, not the baler, but some of the tools involved in it, especially the mowers. I was confused that first time, but they can actually create a swath for you from the get-go, so that's not too bad. So if we go and put this away, and I will borrow the equipment needed to do the baling contract at field 15, we'll get into that real quick. Okay, so here we are in field 15, and it is time to get started on this contract. So let's just unfold everything, get the mowers started. Now there should be a nice edge that I should be able to spot as I go around here for where the field actually begins and ends. So we'll try and use that as a guide. I'll get the first headland done. I wish there was a little bit of an easier way to see the edges of these fields, especially on these custom maps where the creator's actually gone to some effort to make these things blend really well. But when you do the contracts, you often leave a lot of the grass or things behind, or you end up having issues where you can't actually cut the edge because it thinks that you've actually gone beyond the field limits. Sorry, I just got stuck there for a moment just trying to see if the field actually went up here. So now that we've finished mowing this, we should go over to the store again and we'll get these things swapped over. And so we've now picked up our tether and we're going to go ted the grass so that we can make some hay. And then we'll get it windrowed and baled. Hopefully this goes rather quickly. Okay, so we've finished with the tedding of the grass. Time to head back and we'll get the windrower. Right, so we got the windrower and I've been thinking that maybe it might be worth investing in some equipment to do these contracts so that we end up making more money off them, but we'd be having to make a lot of money from these contracts to pay back all the equipment and then turn a profit on top of that. It would take a fairly long time, but at the same time, we do need to be able to get grass, silage, and all those things for the cows that we want to keep. So we're going to have to buy this equipment anyway. So we might as well do it once we have the money. I think that should be something we should invest in next. It's either probably this or the grapes. The thing though is the harvester for the grapes is really expensive, and that's really your biggest expense with those things, other than the vines themselves. Everything else is pretty okay on the cost side. So maybe we should go and invest in the grapes. We can still do these contracts because we can just borrow the equipment and we can then use that money to buy the implements that we need to make the hay and the grass and also the silage from the contracts earnings. That's what I mean. And the money we make from the grapes, that'll just go back into the farm and build it up that way. So it's kind of a way to subsidize everything, I guess. So anyway, let's get on with this. Okay, let's get this last bale loaded onto the trailer. I'm just gonna lean it onto the back if it'll let me. I'm pretty sure it should. And then we'll get a worker to drive our little Ford back to the farm. And we will take the Veltra to sell point, and then we'll bring the trailer back before we complete the contract all the way. So if I can get this to just get stuck on the back like that. Awesome. Now, I've had some issues with the auto drive in this game. It's definitely not the cosplay mod. Even though you set up tracks on Courseplay to get them to drive. But yeah, the tractors sometimes have the biggest issue finding their way to a field, even if you tell them to just go next to it. I don't know. They're a bit weird. So if I park it here and we hit drive and then we select the farm and we just wanted to park it in the driveway, that's fine. Hopefully it will... Okay, it's off. Now if we get back to this guy, there we go. And we'll head out that way. I hope that this isn't too heavy. Everything seems okay. That one strap's just glitching out a bit. Considering we're most likely well overweight for this trailer, we're not doing too bad. Just take it easy. Let's go onto the road here. Surprised we haven't already had issues with this wanting to fall over. Alright, so we're almost at the sell point for the bales. I'm curious to see if we will get any additional money. Any additional money is always welcome. Alright, so I'm not sure if it'll actually start accepting the bales once we unstrap them. They might be a little bit... Yeah, they should be. I was worried they might be too high off the ground, but I doubt it. And it's complete, and we got an extra $3,700, which is good. Combine that with the $2,000 we got from the other contract, and that is an additional installment paid on our loan, which is really good. Alright, so we're basically back at the farm, going through the back way here. And we're just going to drop off our trailer, complete the contract, and let's see where our finances are at. Okay, so we're currently sitting at $27,000 and we owe $25,000. So I reckon let's just get the whole thing repaid. There's not much money left over. We might need to take out a $5,000 loan if we do need something really urgently, but I'd rather resort to doing another contract, and that is all our debt paid. That's the idea. What I might do is just do some of these cultivating contracts off screen, since they're not worth that much and they're not too big of a deal to get done, but I don't think they're really worth it. So we'll leave the bigger stuff and more exciting contracts for stuff to be done on screen. That is if I do have the time to do these other ones. I might even do some other contracts, but in case there's a money increase or I forget to mention it, that would be the reason. But let's take a look at our fields really quickly. Now, I don't really know of any good way to check whether our fields can be fertilized, other than to actually drive out there with a fertilizer and see if it'll do something. I do actually think they need to sprout before we can get our next round in. They are not ready yet. We'll just drive over to somewhere where we can easily see if the color is going to change. It should be here. Okay, no, color is not changing. If anyone does know a good way to check whether you can actually fertilize a field, that would be really handy. So let's park it up here. We're going to do one more thing. We're going to take a quick nap. Even though we've been playing at 1x speed and the day hasn't really finished, we'll do it anyway. Alright, and just for the sake of next episode, let's quickly fast forward the time. We'll put it around midday so that we do get some progression in the time. I like to play it on a really slow time scale while I'm doing my jobs, just in case anything does go wrong, but we can... Actually, we'll stop it at about 11. That would be good. Alright, now that that's done, let us check the used machinery market. Oh, okay, there's some really good stuff here. I'd really like to grab a tractor for the vineyard, and this would be a very nice tractor to have. I believe it's only this one on the Landini, but having a Fendt wouldn't be bad. But we don't have the money for it, and there's no need for it right now, which is it's unfortunate because that's 49, that's like 50% off, which is a huge saving. But I'm not going to take out a loan just to buy that right now. It's going to be a long while before we get some grapes in. Oh, I say long, but it shouldn't be that many episodes, but you never know. So with that, I am going to end off the episode. It would have been nice to grab that little tractor and start the vineyard stuff, but that is not an option. So the crops should be sprouting, I think, in not too long if they haven't already. And if that is the case, they should be able to get a fertilization stage on them, and they'll be completely fertilized. I'm not going to roll the fields, even though they have required it. I'm not going to spend the money on that right now. That'll be something we do into the future. But I think the crops are a good yield rate with everything that we've done. We just got to make sure that we get 2 rounds of fertilization in, and I'll double check. Maybe we have done that already. But they've been limed, they've been plowed and fertilized at least one stage. So if we get the second one in, we'll get a really high yield, and hopefully we'll make a good amount of money off them. That's the only other concern. I'm not sure whether we'll wait to sell them when the price is higher, but we'll have to see. So thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next episode. And until then, cheers.